starts to defuse. Hengu goes for one on the Young. Can he go the second?
Min, what are you doing? What just happened? Why are you sprinting, Bio?
Hungry, he gets the angry!
Oh, he's Moringa, are you ready for this?
Oh.
Yes! Bango, are you kidding me?
Why am I so much better than you? God damn!
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of SiegeGG Live. And today, I'm not joined by Hunter. I'm joined by a very special guest, David and I. We're joined by the 00 Nation coach from Brazil, TchubZ. And really exciting to have you here on the show, TchubZ. Really excited to get your insight into all of this. And, how are you feeling today?
Oh, for me, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invite, and I'm just really glad and really happy.
Fantastic. So, I'm not sure how you've been, keeping up with everything that has been going on with all the stuff that's happened in the other regions. How much have you paid attention to Twitter in the past 48 hours or so?
Well, we're just still practicing. We're not taking vacations, so not much. For I can tell, I was chatting to Klausak and I said, "Oh, my days are ending almost midnight every single day, so I'm pretty damn busy. Even though I'm off the Elite Six and the Major, but we are keeping very busy."
Yeah, I mean, you guys are obviously not quite where you wanted to be, but I think let's start with arguably the headline news of this week. And why not we start with drama? That's what we all love. That's what always happens in Twitter. It starts in Twitter, the drama. So the drama this time, surprise, it was an APAC drama, real drama, real beef. The days, and I said this on the second entry on Hunter's podcast earlier today, or yesterday for everyone else. Usually you're like APAC best pack. We're all friends here in APAC. That's the kind of vibe you get, and I'm sure you felt this, TchubZ. But this time around, the Koreans and the Australians, they have been going at it with each other, and the drama started with the fact that. Well, the core reason is APAC is massive. It's huge, and it's just like LATAM, where you have your Mexico, you have your South American region, you have Brazil as well, and these are big, wide regions. And Copa Elite Six, for the spirit of competitiveness and qualifier lands for SI, they hold it on land, as I said. Because you can't play it online, right, TchubZ? What kind of ping will you get if you guys tried to play it online? I know they tried it for SI and it failed, something like that.
For us playing against the other South American teams, from the South American League, it's okay, I guess. Not that impactful, but playing against Mexican teams, it's just nuts because they are really far from us.
Yeah,
they are in the North America, so for playing against them, it's tough. They have to travel.
Exactly. So this is coming. So and I asked TchubZ this question because this is coming from a professional coach. So you can't just point to us and SiegeGG journalist. You don't know what you're talking about. No, this man knows what he's talking about, right? And in APAC is huge. Okay, so let's give you a sense of the scale. The time that it takes you to fly from Los Angeles down to Sao Paulo is about the same time it's going to take you to fly from Singapore to Sydney, or is the same time to fly from Korea to Sydney. So these are the distances we're talking about. Australia is the size, land area wise, is almost the size of the USA. Okay, that is huge. It's put on the bottom corner of the map, right? People don't realize it. Australia is massive, right? Even from one end to the other end of Australia, it takes 4 hours by flight, like it does in the US. So, the scene has been set. and we have a Korean team playing an Australian team twice. First, on the first day, on Wednesday, it was Sandbox versus Chiefs. Chiefs beat Sandbox 2-1, a close game. And then after that, they went over. Or was it 2-0? Am I forgetting? Jeez, my memory's bad. They beat Sandbox. Then the next day, they went on to beat Damwon Kia. And this was like chaos as well. So ESL's decision to hold this online, obviously, right now, is motivated by COVID, right? You can't travel easily. You got all the visa issues, stuff like that's going on. Now, the problem with holding it online is it's shitty, especially for the Australians, because they're playing on like the Southeast Asian servers. They play their normal APAC South games also on the Southeast Asian servers. So them playing this so far away, it already is like default. The ping is like 110 on like a good day. 110. TchubZ, I'm gonna ask you again.
Impossible to play.
Yeah, tell me how does the game change when you're playing on 110 ping?
Well, I can tell that the perspective that we will never lose a game if we are with 9 ping and the other team we got 110 ping. It's probably impossible to win any gunfight. Every single gunfight will be way harder than it should be. That's the core thing. Every single gadget you use when you need to like do a quick peek or strafe and then use a gadget and come back, like you will probably die because you're not showing just the shoulder. It will show much more. It's literally like I'm not a happy guy when I face this kind of situation. I will just say, well, okay, my team won't play. I won't put my team on this situation 100%.
Yeah. So it is wild, right? So what happened was I got a clip loading up. That's why you heard the audio. But what happened was I have it based on sourcing that I found out today. To make it even, ESL has long been running this VPN system for all the teams in APAC South, at least, and in the APAC playoffs, I guess, where the logic is if it's shitty for the Australians, we'll also make it shitty for everyone else. So like it's fair, like it's equal, but it's shitty for everyone. Like it's bad, right? And these VPNs, we've had like Renatus, we've had Lunar Metal, former captain of the old IG Invictus Gaming roster. They have said that this introduces delays even in the communications. So your comms start lagging as much from half a second to 1 second. TchubZ, once again, I'm going to break this down because what happens when you have half a second or 1 second of delay in comms?
I wouldn't put my team to play, to be honest. I'll say, okay, we're not playing.
What would happen if you had to play?
Because
like,
it's impossible to play. It's impossible to play. It's really impossible to play.
You call out like, oh, that guy's walking through the door. By the time that call comes through, he's come in, he's killed 4 people on site. It's over. The round's done.
Can you imagine to watch rotation and say someone is lurking and getting in your backline and say, okay, he'll be already killing you before like your communications go to your team. And you got in position to punish that lurker, but it's truly insane. It's truly insane. I think you don't have an easy solutions for that because from what I know, it's hard to leave Australia. Australia, it's the country will get the most
correct
issues about like visa situation and travels, right?
Yeah.
So probably the tournament should be held in Australia because I don't think it's that hard to go to Australia, but leaving Australia it is.
So
from what I hear, but
so this is
not 100% sure about that.
This is what used to happen back when you had the Pro League finals every 3 months, or even after it switched to like Pro League Major, it was every 3 months. There would be an APAC LAN, whether it's for qualifier for the major, whether it's for the qualifier for the Pro League finals. You would have 2 teams from Japan for the Pro League finals, 2 teams from Korea, 2 teams from Southeast Asia, join 2 teams from Oceania, ANZ, and they would go to Sydney. They'll fly down to Sydney, and they would hold a LAN there. It would be a small LAN event, maybe 100 people, 150 people at most. But there would be a LAN, and it would be competitive. It would be properly worked out. Yeah. Now, that's obviously been very tough since we started competition, because Australia has been locked down. Most of Asia has also been locked down. We only need to look at like Fnatic. They couldn't get into Japan for 2 years. They tried. They tried really hard. They couldn't get into Japan. So not easy. So okay, fair enough. But this decision to do the VPN system, it is just it's baffling. It's like you decide to do a coin flip between every single engagement, every single gunfight that happens. It's like, all right, your experience sucks, my experience sucks. Am I gonna win this gunfight or you? We don't know. We'll just swing and we'll hope for the best. So
I just have one question.
Yeah.
I just have one question. The VPN thing, did they implement it like half through the tournament, or is it here since day one?
My next point.
Because I remember the Chiefs facing Talon, was it?
Yeah.
Which is Australia against Korea. So you're telling me that Talon had the advantage then?
Yeah.
And 1 week later, they changed the VPN thing?
Yeah. So here's what happened. So Chiefs have been usually fine with using VPN. Like it's been okay. Usually, normally the VPN it actually lowers the ping for the Aussie teams. It actually, for like Chiefs, by a little bit, it makes it acceptable. And TchubZ, before I go on any further, is it still a rule that your ping can only be 150 ms? After that, you're not allowed to play in the competition. Is that still the rule? 150 ms ping cap?
I don't know.
All right. That used to be the rule at the last I checked, which was like last year. I think early last year I checked. So, and that's what the Chiefs seem to imply as well. That is 150 ms. So it used to bring them below the cap. But then something happened with the VPN. Not really with the VPN, with like the undersea cable. Australia, Singapore cable, and another cable called Indigo West cable. Undersea, that's how the internet runs through these two countries. That's how Australia gets internet. Something happened with the cable, and it's been a problem for the entire country. And Chiefs started getting like 180 ping, 160 ping on official games. Nightmare scenario. And this continued through into the APAC playoffs in the first game against Talon. And Chiefs say that they asked ESL, according to Chiefs, they asked ESL, can we use our own VPN? Our VPN shows that our ping is not getting worse. It's a little bit lower. It's not great, but at least it's like better than what your VPN is. ESL said no. ESL tried other methods, didn't work out. Chiefs lost that game against Talon 2-0. Talon were not on a VPN. They were playing normal ping, about 70 ping to Southeast Asia server. Then comes this week. Sandbox, from my sourcing, I found out were told to use a VPN 3 hours before the game. 3 hours. They went from
that's just insane. That's
they
literally
went
insane.
from like their 70 to 80 ping to 110 ping, and they had 3 hours to get used to it or whatever. Like the shift happened so fast, and the same thing, I guess Damwon must have known at the same time that Sandbox were told. I haven't checked with Damwon exactly yet. I haven't found it through sources as well. But it looks like 3 hours before the Sandbox game, both the Korean teams left in the competition. Sandbox and Damwon were told you have to use the VPN. It is a huge shift. Look, let's be real. It was almost an equal playing field. Chiefs had to like move their players within Australia, like they shifted their cities to try and reduce this ping difference and whatever. Chiefs tried their best. Chiefs also had to deal with shitty ping. All right, the ping was shitty for everyone, and it was a nightmare scenario for everyone. But Chiefs at least had a little bit of use to playing on the high ping environment. They've been playing on this for 1.5 years now, right? Coming up to 1.5 years. The Koreans were given 3 hours notice. Doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. It's impossible. Imagine teachers if you're told like, oh, your game against Fury and Stage 2 3 hours before your game, yeah, you gotta play with 110 ping. Suddenly,
I would say that I'm not playing.
Yeah,
simple as that. I think for me, it's the problem. It's way deeper. Like Chiefs, or even any Australian team should never be playing with this kind of thing for entire year, for example. Like some rules, like gotta be changed because of the COVID situation, of course, to make it more competitive because you're not being competitive enough. If you're like, okay, let's put everybody to play with 80 ping, you're not raising the competition because we work to play in the highest level possible. And if you're not able to do that, it's already wrong. You should already change something.
Money's on the line.
Maybe okay, one Australian team will be going straight to the major or something like that. Change some rule to make more to keep the competitive integrity because for me that's an absurd. But I wouldn't be playing. I can guarantee that. I probably would call my boss and say we are not playing.
Yeah,
we are not playing, and he will
really,
probably understand.
Yeah,
like you can be forcing going through something like that because like not just the way they should go.
And we've been talking about this for a while now, like since last week, since Chief first had the issue against Talon. It was against Chief last week. And Hunter was like, Hunter and I discussed this, and we were like, yes, it's extremely difficult to moderate such a huge, as I said earlier on, it's so far, things are so far. So it's hard to put them in the same league. And that is obviously a problem that exists because you're putting APAC together as one region. Fine. But then the next question is, they have known that COVID is gonna be an issue for coming on 2 years now, since they have restarted international competition. Yeah. So at this point, you should be doing something else that can help things out. And in fact, in 2020, I thought the solution was better than what it was right now. In 2020, you had Oceania separate. All right, they had their own thing, and they're supposed to have this APAC South LAN where 2 teams from South Asia join them, and then they play a 8-team LAN, 6 teams from Oceania Nationals and 2 teams from South Asia Nationals. They play a LAN 8 teams, and top 2, I think, go to the major. And then the top 2 from the APAC North, which was 12 teams, also joins the teams in a major, or I think it was something like that. And I think it sounds like a better plan than what it is right now, and forcing these Australian players to play across these ridiculous distances, even against irregular games against Direwolves, and no fault to Direwolves at all over here. But they're in Taiwan. That's next to South Korea. That's a 1-hour flight from Seoul, right? Taipei is right there. So them playing against Direwolves thrice at least in a season, those 3 games are washes for them, because the Australian teams are going to be at such a huge ping disadvantage every single time. So the structure of APAC is problematic. Moving forward, of course, as Australia opens up, Singapore's opening up, most of the Asian countries are finally opening up. China is not, but doesn't matter. China's not in the pro league. Not in the pro circuit. LAN should be coming back. This outcry should definitely be indicating to ESL, we need LANs back. Because this format is extremely unsustainable, and the fact, and if we see even one more stage
as well.
But I think there's a possible solution to this. Ubisoft. I know that this is probably crazy expensive, but I think it's the only available option, considering that it's almost impossible to have, right now, a LAN competition in Asia. We could held the LAN competition qualifier to the major in the same city of the major 2 weeks before the major. As it happened in the Six Invitational with the LATAM qualifier. Something like that could work. But I guess it's, as I said, crazy expensive to fly all of those teams from Asia to Charlotte and play the games 2 weeks before.
Do it in Sydney like you used to. Sydney's open. Australia's open. Stage 2 onwards, this has to be happening. And teams have been complaining about it for years. Lunar Metal was, according to him on Twitter, was sanctioned. Like, he was sanctioned when he was in Giants for speaking out against this system when Giants and the rest of the Southeast Asian teams were moved to APAC South. They were
He got
very
sanctioned.
Yeah, he got sanctioned according to his Twitter. I mean, obviously, ESL hasn't got back to me when I asked about.
Was it a 40K fine?
Oh, like he got sanctioned on Giants apparently. So ESL has been ignoring these issues, these concerns raised by the players for a long time now, and that cannot fly. And the funny thing is, Hunter and I discussed this on the Second Entry podcast, which is on our site right now. Go check it out as well afterwards. It's on Spotify and Anchor. We discussed that unless if it was only Sandbox that this happened to, if it was only Chiefs that it happened to, nothing would change. But there's a chance for change because it's Damwon it's happened to. Because Damwon, everyone loves Damwon. They were like so close to being a grand finalist in Sweden Major. So that changes
one
perspective.
bolt away.
Yeah, and it sucks that it's like that this is the case. But like, all right, man, like. If Damwon had to be sacrificed for the good of APAC, I guess. I guess they had to be sacrificed.
I don't think like they should be going to, for example, to Charlotte 2 weeks before. They could go for anywhere closer and cheaper with like no visa issues, like to make things literally cheaper and viable. Because the way it went. I wasn't following straightforward because, as I said, we were having practice and after practice and watching Elite Six. So, the way that it stands right now, it's literally impossible to keep in this way. And we don't know where COVID situation will be better. We don't know when we will have like no visas problems, any kind of issues on that way. So. Like you have 2 years to adapt to the COVID situation.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
It needs to say, and like I think even you look at your own region, TchubZ, like stuff went wrong for the SI qualifier. They were so quick, like Ubisoft was so quick to step in and fix the issue. They brought the people to Sweden, all the teams, and they made them play the qualifiers. They're like competitive integrity must be upheld. And yeah, like what's being said, like the most recent message in chat, what C Lalan is saying, not sure how to pronounce that, but like, yeah, what if they brought all the teams from Brazil to Sweden? They can surely do it. Like, and what Martin suggested as well, if budget is the issue, just bring the Australian teams to somewhere within Asia where they can play like on normal pay. Stop making them play from far away. It sucks for everyone. It sucks for the Australians. It sucks for the Koreans. It just sucks. Yeah, and
they're
sacrificing everybody is not a good choice. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we should move on.
Yeah.
We should wait. TchubZ, who actually? Question from Odin, the Daiwo's coach. Who runs the LATAM League? ESL or Face It?
ESL, I think.
Well, there we go.
Yeah,
so
it's Ubisoft with ESL. I think it's not Face It.
Yeah. Well, there it is. But we have gone on this point for very long. This point has really, it's been 48 hours and it's been beaten to complete death, and we have buried it right now in this podcast. If anyone starts talking beef, just clip stuff from this VOD, send it to them. Yeah. Moving on. We'll get to your region last because I want you to be able to talk as long as possible, TchubZ, if that's okay. So we'll move on to EU, where we had like
right? I was like,
yeah, I know you got a lot to talk about, so like we're gonna give you as much time as possible to talk about it.
Me.
Yeah. EU then. Wow, have Rogue thrown it all away with their loss to Outsiders? They lost to Outsiders 7-2 this week. That is a huge surprise. I joked about this last week, like Outsiders are Outsiders, for a spot at the Charlotte Major, but they're now 1 point behind Rogue.
Yep.
Rogue on this final day. Sorry, yeah, continue.
Are they in 5th? Are they in
Outsiders in
fifth or
sixth.
something?
Outsiders are in
Sixth.
sixth. They're 1 point behind LFO, who's in fifth,
Mhm.
and 1 point behind Rogue, who's in fourth. So it's round difference that separates these teams. 5
Yeah.
plus 5 plus 3 plus 2.
I mean, the
But
thing is
Rogue
that
will
G2
face
and
Heroic next game, right?
Exactly.
yeah, but the thing is that Heroic has already locked that first spot, so I'm not sure about the seeding, how it works or anything. I don't remember now. But they are not going anywhere. It's first for sure for Heroic, so they don't have anything to play for. I mean, I'm not saying anything. Like, I'm not trying to mention anything, but it's like another
They
game
might
for
play
them,
just
and
some
that's it.
basics. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I would
So
if I was them. So
yeah,
I
okay,
would
yeah.
just play the regular base. I wouldn't show
Mhm,
anything new. If I play on default strats, great, of course.
mhm,
But otherwise, if I could hide anything, I would.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have this context in this game, and then you have also G2 facing BDS. We could see like one of these two missing out on the top four, and outsiders, if there is like the other results help them, they could sneak in the top four in the very last final day of the competition, which would be like actually impressive.
Yeah, it's actually surprising. Like, so the games next week, right? It's LFO versus
Mhm.
Pawns, and that is going to be for LFO spot potentially. There
Mhm.
is Outsiders versus M&M, and these games, I think the Outsiders versus M&M is a bit harder to say. You might back Outsiders, and it would be reasonable to back
Mhm.
Outsiders, especially after Outsiders beat Rogue in the manner that they did. LFO are probably beating Pawns. Like, let's be real, Pawns are not doing well. They have one regulation win, one overtime win. That's it. That's all they have so far. Pawns are not having a good time. And then, like, this is going to be a battery of crazy games. After that is BDS versus G2. G2 are looking in better form. G2 wants that second seed, obviously. G2 are going to be pushing for it. So BDS might lose that in regulation. And they have looked sketchy. They were 7-5 against Secret, and they were 7-5 against Pawns. Like, aside, I don't know if you watched the highlight TchubZ or you saw the clip. Did you see the clip of the final round? Shaiko just went Shaiko things. He, like, knifed someone jumping in on construction window on Clubhouse.
It's like
And he
because
got a
I
3-3.
never count BDS off anything. Like BDS, it's BDS.
Yeah.
They were the king of Europe for so long, so it is just a team that you don't count off. In Mexico, I was cheering for Empire because I would face Empire. I was happy to face Empire in the grand finals and not BDS, you know. So I'm the guy that I don't count BDS off even when they are playing like almost like 10% of what they are used to play. But well,
It's tough. They're
even
against
playing like
G2.
in that way, they are in the third place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And
so
also, the
will be
funny
a tough
thing
game.
is,
Will be a tough game.
actually, I just realized, that G2 itself could get knocked out depending on the score margins of the games. Like, suppose BDS smacks G2 really hard, right? And Rogue also wins by a fairly big margin. LFO wins by a fairly big margin. G2 could drop out of the running. They could drop down to fifth. And it all depends on these first four games. It goes Pawns, LFO, Outsiders, M&M, BDS, G2, and then Heroic, Rogue. This last play day on May 2nd, May 2nd, it's going to be crazy on Monday. Like,
Monday is gonna be.
It's
Monday. It's Monday.
I think it's really, really hard to G2 drop the top four.
Yeah.
Because BDS against
I
G2
agree.
will be a 7-5, 7-4 games max.
Yeah.
Won't
but,
be.
And overtime.
But like,
yeah,
I would say
probably overtime depending on the match.
LFO is facing Pawns, and I'm saying that they could get a +7 on their round differential. They could get a +7 on
that
their
would be
round.
crazy, honestly.
The big thing is probably LFO will be picking up Rogue spot. They shouldn't lose to.
Yeah, that is a good
Shot
chance,
yes.
unless Heroic, as you said, like plays so basic and Rogue goes so hard. Rogue also beats Heroic like by like a fairly big margin. If G2 doesn't, if G2, if they lose in regular, if they lose, it'll be a -2 on the round differential, right? If Rogue and LFO both cross that round differential and G2 lose, period, yeah, they could reasonably drop out. It's going to be tight, but let's not forget that is a possibility. And like, I don't know, like predicting who the final 3 teams are. TchubZ, you're obviously backing BDS as one of the final 3 teams. Who are going to be the other 2 teams, in your opinion, to make it from Europe? BDS, Heroic, and who?
I think G2 will be 100% in.
Right.
I'm cheering for G2, and if G2 go into the major, I'm obviously one of the teams that I will be cheering is G2 because of my man Alemão there. So
Hey,
of course I'll be cheering for him. So, but I think just Rogue will drop down. BDS and G2 probably going to overtime. And LFO, they have like better chances than Rogue, to be honest. And
yeah.
it will be fun to watch a team without an organization behind going through the major.
Yeah, because
I mean,
I
it
think
won't be without a major. Surely not.
Yeah.
But by the time they get
It'll
to
be
the,
easy for them.
I think it'll be like the same thing that happened in Raleigh, which also in North Carolina. It's funny how it's the same team that's ended up, with the LFO just before a major. They'll get signed by someone, like just they did like a couple of days before Raleigh major.
But isn't it in the rule book that Orgles teams cannot play in like international tournaments? That happened last year. That happened last year with the Theris, who were like picked up by Akabe, I think it was called. I think it was in the rule book. And the same could happen with outsiders.
Just through the event, I think. But
yeah, exactly. Just the event.
Hopefully,
but you never know.
Yeah, hopefully
of
that
course.
doesn't happen with the LFO. They pick the organization for like after the event too, so that you don't have a new league without like with teams without organization. Like it seems
not
like the previous Vitality. They were pretty damn good. They beat us in the Sweden major
November
twice. Twice.
Yeah, I
remember as well.
I hate seeing players like Bivo with no house. But well, we'll see.
Speaking of LFO, I'm actually curious, from a coach to coach. It looks like on the outside, LFO has a very good coaching setup. Like they've got Liloon, they've got Helby, they've got like both of them working together, and it really seems like the two of them, they've been working hard, and it's not always had success, particularly because of their previous super team roster that they tried out with Goga and Fabian. But it seems like, once they got their roster settled down, kind of like your Team 1 roster almost, like where they picked up a couple of like not so good players and they kind of revitalized them. It kind of looked like, do you also think like, from the outside or speaking to them, what is your opinion on the vitality or like the LFO coaching setup?
I think they are pretty damn good because like success, you can look in like not just they went through majors, they won stuff. Like you can use like the Igor CTG from W7M for example. Like he never qualified with INTZ. W7M last split, he was used to be on the last places on the BR6 table, like for like 2 maybe 3 years in a row. He's older than me in Rainbow Six Siege. He helped me when I joined the Six Siege.
Nice.
So and like he just make an outstanding plan with W7M, and then like they broke the record in the BR6, which is the hardest national championship in the entire world. So he did an outstanding job. Like it took like 4 or 5 years to reach that point, and they might not do the same thing in the next split. In the next split, they like finish in like 6, 7th place, and you can't call him unsuccessful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I think Liloon and Helby, they are pretty damn good coaching staff. Yes, they
looks like
they brought solid results. Like if you see the Siege scene as a whole, They brought good results. They went to the Swedish major. They almost made it to the others. So yeah, I don't see them as bad. No, I see them as
No
pretty damn
way.
good. And they smashed us twice in Sweden.
Yeah, and like yeah, that is no easy feat, especially since you guys at that point were the defending major champions. So yeah, really excited. I personally my predictions are G2, BDS, and LFO as well. David, what are you thinking? Who do you think are going to be the
The
final
same
three
one.
teams? G2,
The
BDS, LFO.
same one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just makes
Same one.
logical sense, I guess. Like a little bit
Hmm.
at this
Yeah.
point, it's hard to look past. Outsiders, though, still have a crazy chance. G2 might drop out. Anything could happen. We've seen weirder stuff, crazier stuff.
Yeah.
TchubZ knows very well statistical improbabilities, as small as they are. You know, sometimes history can be
Yeah.
beat.
0.4%.
You
History
never
can be
But
know.
made.
but
Tiebreakers, 7-2 score
Yeah.
lines. You know, on the edge. It could happen.
Finishing at the bottom of the standings and then qualify for a Six Invitational.
I
Yeah.
hope I never face that situation again in my entire life.
Yeah, that
So
should be.
I can guarantee that. I hope I never face that situation again in my entire life. It was amazing, it was incredible, but being like held by a 0.4% chance of qualifying, I never want to be in that position again.
Wild stuff.
Honestly, I want it to happen again.
Maybe not to
not to
you,
you, not to
but
you,
like
not to
someone.
you.
Yeah, yeah,
Not to,
yeah.
okay, to the
Not
others.
to
Okay,
you.
good luck with your 0.4% chance. I'm okay with you having that. Okay, of course. But for me, I have my dose enough. I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like it completely turns events and matches on their head. But I think what happened, what turned things on its head was a little bit of a surprise in NA this week, where we only
Hmm.
really had one main thing to look at, and that was the game between SSG and DZ.
Hmm.
And TchubZ, I want to start with you, maybe over here. Are you surprised that it's DZ who's like made it? Especially,
Yes,
you is it surprised? Yeah, I think I would say I'm surprised
yes,
too.
yes. And
Yeah,
I'm really
DZ.
close friend of the SSG guys. I know them really well. I think they are like really, really damn good. I think they are better than Dark Zero, and I'm not like scared about saying this kind of stuff, but yeah, I'm not. I think they are really, really, really better than Dark Zero. It's harder
Yeah,
to play SSG than Dark Zero. 100% sure. 100% sure.
definitely
I've
looks like
played
that.
against both, but like I think we always smashed Dark Zero, and the times that we played SSG was 2-1 in Paris, but are like really tough to play. Really tough to play. So
David,
I was thinking that they
yeah,
were making to the major. I was when I watched like okay DZ against SSG.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. You thought,
SSG
yeah,
is probably
yeah, you
is
thought
probably
that
making
was
it.
how it's gonna happen, but evidently, Davida, were you surprised? 'Cause I was definitely surprised when I
Yeah,
watched that
for
match.
sure,
The
for
way,
sure. For sure, like both teams are great, but Space Station Gaming is like you like looking at the both teams and how they have played this season. I think that you maybe expect Space Station Gaming to like win the game. Um, Looking at, for example, these three books, I'm not sure when was the last time Space Station Gaming missing it
ah,
out on a international event. I'm not sure if you had that stat.
yeah, I think Heather wrote an article basically that was like breaking down this whole situation that was coming up. Like,
Hmm.
so this is the article. And I'm gonna put it in the chat. Have a look, everyone. So the head to head, it was like in DZ's
Yeah, I
favor,
remember.
which is a
Hmm.
little bit of a surprise. What with because you, as you said, you know, as teacher said, on paper, and like especially being the fact that they are world champions from 2020, you would think that SSG would be the surprising the one with the lead. So we'll see a little bit more on the stats. I'm not sure the stats say Yeah, they don't say when SSG last missed out, but I think they haven't missed out since Olga Pit, right? Like, by my memory,
Weren't they there? I think they were there.
Yeah,
Space
like
Station?
They were
that
near
was
the
like the
pitch.
first one. No, they were at Raleigh too. No, weren't they? Raleigh.
Maybe not.
Oh wait, no, but there was like a pro league in the middle. My bad, I forgot about that one. Like when the miners were there, there were pro leagues. Yeah, they weren't at pro.
Okay,
leagues.
yeah.
They weren't at pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think like Tokonami was the last
Konami,
one
yeah.
that they missed, and after that they haven't missed anything. They have been on it, so it's been a real surprise. And surprising is also, I guess, the stat line. And I'm going to read you the ratings. I'm going to read you the ratings over here of like the two teams. So one team got a rating of highest is 1.09, 0.98, 0.95, 0.78, 0.71. The other team has ratings of 1.35, 1.23, 1.22, 0.89, and 0.27.
Wow.
Yeah. It sounded like the second team won the game, right? Until I said the last one, yeah. And that was a bad game for Bosco to go quiet. He was 1-9 on the kills, 33% on KOST, and 25% on survival. That was like people in chat, I think, on Reddit were calling him Costco.
Yeah, I remember that in Reddit.
Yeah,
I mean, stats don't always say the whole thing, but
I think in this case,
the difference is massive. Okay, like I'm not reading the chat right now, but I'm sure someone is saying stats are not like they don't tell the whole story or whatever. But at this point, looking at like the numbers and the difference, it's surprising. It's surprising.
Yeah. Like teachers, I don't know how much you guys look at stats over on your side, but like I think in this case it's safe to say had Bosco performed just a little bit better, it was a 7-5 victory only for Dark Zero. Dark Zero across the board didn't play well, but they played just a little bit better than SSG. Bosco just had to
they
maybe
played
a little bit more.
They played better. Yeah, I remember a game in Team 1 against Furia. We played a Chalet.
Yeah.
It went to overtime. And Levi, he went like 112 or something like that.
Yeah.
And when the game ended, he was just like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. It's like, oh, it's okay. No problem. Because we remember because in that day, everything went wrong with him. Like, he was doing the right things, the right choices, everything, but everything went wrong, you know? Like, Bosco may had one of those days, so...
Sounds like
But
yeah.
Levi helped with the communication, he helped in the other ways that he could. He started to pick other operator that could help more the team than himself. Like, okay, I'll start playing Lion because I'll play more safe because I'm not confident, so I use the gadget to help the other four and start playing through the other four. So even though he was like 112, 100, I think he finished the game 112 or what, even more. I think
I
116.
remember that game. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He was helping the team. He was it was a tough one. Every single game against Fury is a tough one, and like yeah, it is. And except in Oregon because they are trash in Oregon, but
this game
like,
was
that
Oregon.
game. No, Chalet. And
I know, but
Fury
this game was Oregon. The SSGDZ. Funnily enough.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And like it's hard to tell like if Bosco went like 1-9 with like shitty stats, of course, but it helped a lot the others to
we don't
perform better. It's hard to put every single blame on him. He probably is still doing that.
Yeah, he feels
He's
like shit.
Probably
guaranteed.
He's blaming. Yeah,
he feels like shit.
And it's understandable, but
yeah,
not always the guy who goes like 0-10. He's a cancer in your team, and well, if you track Lagona's stats when we were champions,
yeah, exactly.
Were like terrible stats.
Super.
But he was ahead. Without him being 0-10, Alemão couldn't go huge.
Yeah.
KDS going
Exactly.
huge, Levi going huge. He played to the other 4 every single game.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we can
So
see that in NA as well. Super with the rest of Sonics, at least in
Exactly.
2021. Like
yeah,
that was a relegation tier team. Super came in. He had shit stats. He still has shit stats, but for 2021, that was the best team in NA, except for like the
yeah,
Invitational. But like, yeah, that was the best team in
probably
NA.
the best IGL in the world.
He might be like we can't tell, right? Like as you said, stats don't tell the story. People give
Exactly.
him bad stats.
We have to check his comps because he might be the best IGL in the world because because of he has like the worst stats in the entire world and he's making up majors,
Mhm.
invitationals. Like
Yeah,
something
top
happens there, you know, like
top
something
Yeah.
six
else happens there.
invitational. Yeah, he's
You
clearly he's
can tell
got
like
something, and sure maybe they haven't adjusted fast enough to this season, and we talked about this earlier. But like I think the quality is there, and I'm looking forward to see how Sonics bounce back and SSG as well. Now the thing about SSG with this loss is TchubZ, and I don't know. I know you're friends with them, but like, and I don't know if you can offer any insight on this. But we have been saying, Hunter and I in particular, we've been saying this is championship winning roster. You look at the people on paper, you have Skies. This guy is like one of the best players in all of NA. We have Fultz, Rampy, Bosco, SI winners. We have Hot and Cold. This guy bullied NAL for like all of 2021,
Yep.
right? This should be a championship winning roster. We have Lycan, who is very smart a coach. I've had a few conversations with him, the way he looked
Mhm.
at the game, at least back when it was at SI20, because that's the last time I saw him in person. But like when I had those conversations, you could tell he was a very, very smart guy. Uh, on paper, this team should be tearing through the NAL. And we were discussing internally, just like thinking, could this force SSG into making a change?
hopefully not. They wouldn't be smart if they change. Uh, if they are thinking that way, well, they can look for us. We are in ninth place in BR6. We have like 3 major champion players.
Mm-hmm.
We have SiegeGG 4 years in Liquid Pro League champion. You have Live who played in phase and have like great seasons in Brazil, and we are in ninth place. Like, and I can guarantee you, we are not changing. We
Mm.
are not changing.
Yeah,
A shitty
but
split doesn't make a shitty team. Like we are
true.
playing from home, as you can see. I'm in home. I'm moving to
Yeah.
the game house tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So
Yes.
like the calendar, the Rainbow Six calendar, it's tough. It's really, really, really terrible in my opinion. It's really terrible because SSG qualified for everything the last year. You can see like
Mhm.
the team that qualified from most of things last year, they're playing the first split because you don't have time
To
to
strat.
rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Mhm.
You don't. It isn't, and this is terrible.
Yeah.
It's literally terrible.
You
You go to
guys.
the next place and say, "Oh my God, I just want to go home and spend like
Yeah.
10 days with my family," because we don't
Yeah.
live in the same state that we live. Our parents live. I'm from
Yeah.
Rio de Janeiro.
Mhm.
I'm in Rio de Janeiro, but I live in São Paulo in the gaming houses, etc. And I've been last year the entire year without coming home, like
Yeah.
even
And,
once.
and
So you
guys,
need those
remember
days to reset,
Yeah.
you know.
remember the photo of
And
TchubZ that they took, that Eric Animale, fantastic photographer by the way. Remember the photo of TchubZ that was taken right after
Yes.
they won the Mexico Major
Yes.
with Team One. You can see the exhaustion on TchubZ's face, and TchubZ worked hard.
dying.
He got the championship, but every other team who's gone to SI is also working that hard. You know, they don't
Mhm.
do it for the whole week, for the whole 2 weeks, sure, but they've been doing it for the entire stage. They've been doing it for like a month, 2 months, 3 months. They've been working, they've been burning the midnight oil. They've been absolutely trying hard. So the exhaustion that teacher is talking about, you could that is I love that photo so much because that shows you don't have to
Yeah.
say anything. You can see it in that photo.
Mhm.
It's just thinking like we do at least 8 hours of pure gameplay a day. plus VOD review of the scrims. So it goes like easy more 3 hours. And then you have to eat. And you have to breathe. And then we do like tactical
It's like 14 hours,
tactical
15 hours?
yeah, 12, 13 hours a day.
Yeah.
And we
See-
do that and in BR6, and that's for me is one of the worst things ever. Like we play every single weekend. We play on Saturday and we play on Sunday. Like 2 days in a
Yeah.
row. The entire weekend. Let's say, for example, oh, my girlfriend say, oh, let's go hang out Saturday. I can't. I have a game next day.
Yeah.
And we work like 12 hours, 12
You
hours.
can't even
And
you can't even do Friday night because like Friday night she's free. You guys have a game the
Yeah.
next day.
Yeah. And like you're never resting. Okay. Oh, but you have Mondays to take a day off if you want. I'm playing next Saturday. I don't have. And what I will do on Monday? Nothing. So what we do?
Yes.
12 hours again, and again and again and again. So if you put that for an entire year, like Rio in Brazil, Carnival, a huge holiday in Brazil.
Mhm.
We have games. We don't have holidays.
Yeah.
We don't have vacations. We don't have breaks.
Yeah.
So if you take tech
It's
for an entire
exhausting,
year,
man.
you can see TSM playing like shit. You can see
Mhm.
SSG out. You can see NIP. NIP is the
NIP,
last
yeah.
place in BR6. Do you
Insane.
think that's normal?
Yeah.
Do you think that's normal? It's
No.
not. They all are exhausted.
NIP hasn't been able to take a break since their SI win. It's very clear. Like, if not, they would have recovered, they would have rebounded. But like every time they kind of make progress, they come crashing back down because I think it's clear at this point they are exhausted. And I don't know, man. Like, I think they're trying. Maybe they're trying too hard. But like, that's a conversation as a whole other thing. NIP is not even here to talk about themselves. We can't really
Yeah.
pretend to know what's going on with them. But it looks like they are
Mhm.
absolutely exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ubisoft needs to remember that we are not robots. We are human playing.
Yeah,
And
it's
we are
extremely fun.
achieving. Yeah, and we seek an utopic perfection that we will never achieve.
Mm.
Mhm.
Perfection in Rainbow Six is impossible to achieve. Everybody who plays in a professional level knows that. So we seek something impossible to reach the highest possible every
Mhm.
single day. If you don't have a break, you will die. You know, like you just
Yeah,
literally will
that's
gonna
it.
die.
That's it.
So like it's truly impossible to do. Like I came from another game. You should see the schedule of the other game. You have like certain space between championships where
Mhm.
you can like chill a little bit. Yeah, of course you don't take like a month vacation, but you can have like 15 days to
Yeah.
breathe and be happy for 15 days with your family to celebrate
Be
a title. If
happy.
you want a major and you want to go to celebrate with your family, you can, because in Rainbow Six Siege you can't. It's a great
Yeah.
calendar.
And TchubZ came from League, by the way, where he worked for like
Yeah.
a couple of like the R6 organizations. He will recognize like Pain and AINTZ, and the OGs will recognize Red Cannons.
Red
Back in the
Cannons.
day, way back in the day, they were in
Yeah.
Six. Yeah, not a good team in R6. Sorry, that was not a good team. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully SSG don't get rushed into decision because they have been bringing this roster for a while now. And they haven't.
It will be a dumb decision.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
hopefully they don't get rushed into like thinking this like they're
Mhm.
failed at internationally, they failed at NAL. Let's see what they can do in stage 2 before we start thinking about what's going on. And yeah, TchubZ, I think you better take a swig of your water right now because I'm gonna let you loose on our final
We're gonna
region.
talk about LATAM, right?
Yes, we're gonna talk.
Let's go.
Now.
Grab some popcorn.
Grab
Time
some
for the
popcorn.
popcorn.
Make sure
on.
you've gone to the toilet. Make sure you've drunk your water. Make sure you're all ready. Teacher's getting
I hope
ready.
I don't
He's
get
drinking his
sanctioned.
water. Hopefully you don't get sanctioned. Looks like that's an
Hopefully not.
APAC thing, but let's see how this goes on. You don't have to get yourself in trouble. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
true.
But like
Yeah, true, man.
say whatever you want to
Be
say.
honest.
This is like this is this is what's going on. Um, let's start it slow. Furia nearly losing to Pampas this week. You were talking about this before the show started. You were
Yeah,
calling Twister and like talking to him about it. Tell us what happened.
yeah.
And you were watching the game, of course.
Twister, like, it's no surprise that Twister and I are really close friends. Like, we work it together in Furia, so I'm really close friend with everyone in Furia.
Mhm.
I just called him and said, dude, that he want to make me bald, because they shouldn't have that much problem dealing with Pampas, or any other Latin team besides Brazilian teams. So yeah, like I think they trolled. They play. I think they felt the like, okay, this is this a decisive game, and they play no ultra aggressive style. So if you're not 100% focused on and comfortable, will be an unstable team, and that might be the biggest problem that Fury will face this major. Because in terms of experience in the entire major, they are one of the most experienced rosters over there. Even beside it,
Yeah.
because they changed it to pieces, but their core, it's much more experienced in those international events than most of the others.
Mhm.
And I told him like, and I told Igor CTG from W7 the same thing. It's like, if you play the same way that you play against the Brazilian teams, they will probably meet in the finals.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fury, Fury, yes, for me it's true. Like Fury, they have this problem when there's like they playing in like we say in Brazil, like 880,
Mhm.
or they play super good, or they play super bad.
Right. No in between.
Mhm.
If they go,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's no mid ground. So if they go to the major and keep that this 880 standards, they will not perform very well over there. And that's that what I told Twister basically, while I was mocking him about certain maps they have, and the fact that he tried to make me bald after this, going bald after this Pampas game. And of course, I was cheering for him. Of course, I cheer for him.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah, I
said,
mean,
you're making it hard to cheer for you. Make it
Now that
hard.
now
yeah.
that you are well, we were talking about being stressed because of the calendar and everything. I guess that a team like W7M, who hasn't been playing Invitational or any other international event, and obviously the fight to save like avoid relegation, which is a tough one as well. But I guess that they have had more time for themselves, I guess, which right now maybe they like have more energy to face some other situations.
I think the W7 is the team to be beat in this major, 100%. I think when we were calling it success by a coaching staff, I think the way they planned stuff was really, really bold and smart because they changed the players even before the transfer windows, like way, 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 way back then.
Hmm.
And because of that, they knew that they wouldn't play in the ISI quals, so they didn't even try to qualify to Six Invitational. They said it's not our time,
Yeah.
and that recall like you must be bold to do this kind of stuff. And they were practicing with the teams that okay, we're going to the major, so we practiced with them, and then majors Sweden came, we come back, then the SI quals start to pop up. So we were practicing against teams that we were that were playing on the SI quals because it's a good practice and we couldn't stop. And they were practicing too, even though they wouldn't be playing. And then teams went to the Six Invitational. They kept playing with a new roster. Teams came back from the Six Invitational. Teams changed and they start to play. They were keep playing with the same roster. So they had like a lot of months before focusing on the next year. Like okay, they're gonna skip like 3 months here to and focus with the new team to the next year. We will be a good team in BR6, and they really are a really good team in BR6. They broke records, and they deserved. It's well deserved their spot in the major. They are really, for me, one of the favorites to win the major. and that for me it's a success case over there. Like
Yeah.
built for success, you know, like it's perfect, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, incredible. Like even the stats, like you just look at the stats, it's crazy. Volps is the highest rated. Keys is the third highest rated. Keys is the highest KD. Volps has the fourth highest KD. Uh, Volps also has the second highest entry. GDN
Yep.
Volps are number 1 and 2 in KOSD. They beat out Palu. They beat out PSK. It's like crazy. Like Volps has 4 clutches, which is number 5 on the list. Well, joint fourth actually on the list, and Plants is where your player, Sexy Cake, leads the way. But but GDN is number 3 over there, 8 Plants as well. That team is getting every single thing done
Yeah,
right.
they are incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're playing in an incredible way. They're really damn solid. I told Igor, like, I think the hardest and toughest opponent that he will face is not even in the major. It's the transfer window.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been saying this for a long while. I've been saying this for a long while.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably couple teams. I think every team that seeks for changes in Brazil are looking to W7M as well. So
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
they are the names in the market for the next
Hmm.
transfer window. 100% sure. So like will be
Even
tough
Black
for them.
Dragons. Yeah.
Nothing compared. Like I think for BD, just Nade,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I was thinking of
just
him.
him. Yeah, just him. And I don't know because you have like the entire W7M. You know, like people
Hmm.
will look to them. Team One people, I think, will look for Lagones and Maya.
Hmm.
Mm.
Maybe will be named like great names in the market for the next
Hmm.
transfer window. But yeah, I think they are these are the biggest problems they will face. It's not even the major. Major, I think, if they play the same way they played in Brazil, it's gonna be really easy for them. Really easy for them. Especially because the thing is they're not a really experienced team internationally speaking, but they're
Hmm.
playing a really solid way. And the teams are in the major are not experienced as well. So it's a rookies majors, you know, like
Yeah.
in between rookies, they will probably
You
smash every
know.
single team.
Many
Every single
fresh
team.
faces. Yeah.
So they are, for me, by far the favorites to win this. I think the biggest problem may be G2. If
Yeah.
G2, because I know how tough these guys in G2 they are
Yeah.
when it comes to these LAN events. I know how Alemo is in these events.
And Shas is
But
literally the most successful coach of all time.
Yeah. Exactly.
so for G2, I know that Alemo is probably thrilled by this major because he probably thinks it's the easiest major he will have to win in his life. And it's true. It
Oh,
is true. If I was in the major, I was thinking the same. I would be
yeah.
Yeah.
thinking the
Looking at
same.
the names.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
Yeah.
need
was like,
like
hey,
fresh faces
okay.
from APAC as well.
Exactly.
No, I'm scared about APAC.
there's
But looking
Yeah.
besides
no there's,
APAC, besides
there's no
let's
damn
keep
one though.
APAC. But if when you look to the other teams, I looked at the majors last year and say, well, the level was higher. You know, like Sweden major phase looked amazing. We
Hmm.
were
Yeah.
talking before going to the Swedish major. Says, who gonna stop phase?
Damn one.
Mm.
We were like doing like who gonna stop phase? Hopefully
Almost.
we will do it, but who gonna stop them?
I
Phase
mean,
were
and
in a level that you look and
Almost.
say
yeah.
that's scary to face, you know, and like phase that just demolished everyone. They
Hmm.
were in a completely another level, and IP raised their bar to match them in final. DW Diamond Kia raised the bar to
Hmm.
be there. So those teams, the top 4 teams, were all the 4 teams was in an incredible high level,
Hmm.
and that's why I'm taking like those 4 teams. We weren't in the top 4.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those teams, they were in a completely another level, completely another level. So when you compare to this major, I think I would, if I was there, the same team won, etc. I would
Mhm.
think it would be like it's easier than Sweden, 100%, 100% easier than Sweden major.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely looks like it. Like back when we had the Tokonami finals, where obviously Brazil, the teams got hit. Like FaZe and NIP didn't really
Yeah.
have the best chances of visas, but like even the other teams, we didn't have like the serial winners there. Like Europe sent Giants Gaming and
Yeah.
Navi. The APAC sent Airwolf and Wildcard. Same situation that was going on over there. NA sent Dark Zero and
And team
Reciprocity.
reciprocity. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of feels like that kind of thing. Like those teams got there on merit, except for the Brazilian ones. They had visa issues, so we'll keep them aside. But the other three regions, those teams were there, but they were new. They were new, so it kind of
Mhm.
what the hardest new team Navi won out, and that I think that might happen. You're right. W7M might be able to blaze through. But yeah, as you said, we'll see what APAC can do. But down to LATAM now. The Copa Elite Six is going on, TchubZ. And
Mm-hmm.
you have indicated to us that you kind of have issues with the Copa Elite Six format, and we briefly touched on this in the show last week. Hunter and I think David, did we? Or was it
Yeah.
last week where we talked about the change in the SI points? Uh,
Uh, maybe last week it was. I
right.
think it was
Yeah.
last
So
week. Yeah.
you can go have a look at that show if you want to see what us journalists think. But Mr. Zero Nation coach, TchubZ, what is your take on this?
I think Elite Six is wrong since the beginning. I just like I dislike most of things about Copa Elite Six. Like literally most of things. I think Mexico shouldn't be playing with us in South America since you have the North American League. And for those who don't know geography, Mexico resides in North America. So why Mexico is playing with us when should be playing in North America? So for me, it's already wrong in that point. I think like it's unimaginable for me to think like Brazil still for me is the best region in the world. GSM might have has been the best team. It doesn't make NA the best region, of course. Uh, we start calling ourselves the best region because we won SI with the team. The
Mexico.
next major with another team,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other major, Sweden major, with another team.
Another thing.
That makes a solid region because every single team can win anything because every single
And
team
grand
are
final is
pretty
at
damn good.
SI20. Let's not
We
forget.
Yeah.
have like
Very
yeah,
close to
Liquid
winning
the
that.
second in
Liquid.
second place, MIBR in third place.
MIVR.
SI21 was crazy. It's Brazil was
In
just.
Yeah.
Sweden major and IP in the grand final as well, a Brazilian
Mm-hmm.
final again.
Yeah.
So that's what makes the best region in the world, right?
Mm-mm.
So BR6 it's way harder than EU League, any league, or any other league in the entire world, and I can guarantee you that 100% NIP is in last place. So just can you imagine NIP being in last place, right?
Mhm.
Uh, so why we have to play the hardest league in the world and then go to another championship to qualify to invitation? While NA League, the top four go straight for invitational. EU League, top four go to invitational. But sure, we have to play another championship to qualify to the majors. And okay, at least last year we have like 6 spots. So top
Mhm.
6 from Brazil went to a Copa Elite Six to play against top 2 from the Mexicans and top 2 the other South American teams, right? Most Argentinian and
Mhm.
teams and 1 or 2 players from Chile. Okay, we knew since day one that the 6 Brazilian teams will fight for the 4 spots, like always been. And now they just took off 2 spots on the Copa Six. So just 4 Brazilian teams go to the Copa Elite Six instead of 6. But the BR6 doesn't give you SI points. Like
Yeah.
NA League, like EU League. So now we have 4 Brazilians scoring points. Of course, they will be the top 4 in the major. The 4 Brazilian teams will go to the major because, yes, there are a huge gap between Brazil, Mexico, and the South American teams, the Argentina teams. Huge gap. I can like even describe it's like huge, huge. It's not even fair in certain points. They are getting better. They are closing this gap, of course, but it will take more time for doing that. And like now, just 4 Brazilians will have SI points. Don't be scared if the top 4 in the BR6 next split change. So we'll have different 4 Brazilian teams going to the major. Yes, already beating Elite Six and etc. Going to the major, and not be scared if other 4 teams went to the third major. So how it goes for Brazilian teams to score invitational points? If you ask me, my opinion, I would leave Brazil today and play in the South American League as 0-0 Nation. Same team. We just play on their league. We'll probably be emperors on their league, qualify to every single Elite Six, and be 100% in 6 invitational without going to majors or if we lose in Copa Elite Six. But Copa Elite Six will be literally a BR6 for us. So it will be like, of course, that's a joke. I don't want to leave Brazil, right? But
I mean, Bodega did.
what? Huh? No, but
Bodega
what?
left.
Will, yeah, why will keep the teams in Brazil? Why
Yeah.
teams will stay in Brazil if we have this terrible shit show for me? Like, do you understand the risks for the entire scene? Why will play the toughest championship in the world if I just can go like to play in Argentina and
Mhm.
and be there? Like, then again, why does Mexico play with us? Want to make it fair? Okay, create an NA Elite Six with Canadian teams, NA
I would be
USA
down
team,
for that. That sounds
and
exciting.
then Mexico teams. That's a North America thing, right? North American
Geography
League
is important.
with yeah, with North American teams, South American teams with the South American League, and then you solve the problem because the way it's now for me, it's terrible. It's terrible, and that's why I think that's why I literally hate Elite Six. Literally, I hate Elite Six. I think it's wrong
These
since the beginning.
yeah.
W?
This idea really solves the geographical problem of Mexico. I always have the same answer when interviewing Mexican players or coaches or talking to them. They always say that they cannot practice against Brazilian teams because of the ping issues we were mentioning before. So in order to get ready to compete in the Copa Elite Six, they have to scream North American teams, which, in my opinion, doesn't make any sense because the game
Yes.
is incredibly different depending on the region you are playing in. So how do
you
you
understand me,
expect
like-
them to get better or to improve if they are playing in a whole different region? However, I think that this kind of North American Elite Six, this North American Elite Six, I think it solves this geographical problem. But the thing is that when you have this kind of playoff, then the problem is in North America as well, because the top 4 would qualify to the major probably because of the gap, or maybe Mexican teams would upset the North American teams. Yeah. I don't want to close the door to that. Okay, yes, but we would see now Space Station Gaming, TSM, Sonics, all these teams, Beast Codes even, maybe at some point they get good enough to break in the top 4. These teams not getting a single 6 invitational point, which is the same problem we have in Brazil. So, conclusion, is the playoff the answer to this? Is the playoff like the good method to follow? Is it? I don't know. I don't know.
To be honest, like the top 6 scoring SI points in your league, for me, it's really fine.
Mhm.
We are in 9th place. I don't give a shit if we won like 50 invitational points or whatever. Like you're in 9th place, shut the fuck up, grind, be better next split. Yeah, you don't have to complain about invitational points if you're like in the last place or 7th place in the 10 teams competition. You know, like you don't have to even think about that. So when you think about Elite Six being top six from Brazil, top 6 from NA, that's a fair level.
Mhm.
So, for example, SSG they are out because they lost a best of 1 game against Dark Zero. Of course, they are not off because of that because they lost several games that
Mhm.
they should, but they are
Yeah.
still best of 1.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Best of 1 doesn't give you the competitive integrity that you want.
Okay.
So when you pick the top 6 more consistent teams to the major region, in case NA, and you put them on Elite Six with the top 2 teams in Mexico, which they are a minor league, and I will consider Mexico from the last year, not this split, because they are they played really poorly in this Copa Elite Six. If they played like this against the top 6 NA, they'll be just smashed the same way they've been here. But they will score invitational points because they finished in first and second place in Mexico. They deserve that. Even though they are a minor region, they need that to even to evolve. And they will play against the NA teams. Teams they because they let's again they scrim on NA servers. They play the NA FPL. They live in North America. They do everything with the North America in North America,
Yep.
right? So they are really more used to play against those teams than play against us in Brazil. So first they have to travel to Brazil every single time, which doesn't make sense because they are like, come on,
Yeah.
like 2 hours
Mhm.
of Vegas, you know, like why the hell are they coming to
Mhm.
Brazil? Like everything doesn't make sense, and like anything makes sense. Anything makes sense. So I think if you take the Mexican performers from last year and you put against the top 6 on NA, will be challenging for some NA teams, right? I can tell that. Like it won't be like the same way as in Copa Elite Six, like it's just smashing everybody. Because even in Brazil, last year they made like quite impressive performers. You have
Mhm.
like Phoenix playing really damn good.
Mhm.
You have
Very.
Estral 2 years
Yeah.
ago
Yeah.
in the against us
That
in the Fury. I remember that game.
Oregon. Oregon.
And
Hey,
Miracle
the
saved
match
our
that you
ass.
highlighted, David. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they made outstanding performances.
Mhm.
Like like they are worse than Brazil. Yes, they are worse than Brazilian teams. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I pay my words, but they are not like you cannot count down on him and say, okay, I'm playing Mexican teams. I'm gonna sleep on my chair while I'm playing. No, you can't do that. You're gonna get smashed. You're gonna
Mhm.
get smashed. They are not dumb teams or this kind of stuff. So I think they may be a problem for some NA teams, 100%. If
Mhm.
they get back to their level, because the level that show up again was trash. So if they go back to the level they played last year, they might be a really problem for some NA teams. And you guarantee that the best 4 teams in that region will go because you're not playing best of ones anymore. You're playing best of 3. It's not the ideal, yeah, it's not the ideal. Best of 5 will determine the best 100% team, but best of 3 you can imagine who's the best
Yeah.
team. The best team gonna win the best of 3. Point. So the four best teams in the region will go. If you see and watch last year, easier because you have more examples. Uh, we knocked out FaZe Clan for being the Mexico Major. We went to Mexico Major playing a best of 3 against FaZe. whoever win that best of 3, we went to the major. We won. We went to the major. On to in the next one, we qualified in the first place, so we went straight for the semifinals. We went straight for the major, and FaZe had to knock out Liquid, if I remember well. I think FaZe knocked out Liquid
When was
to
it?
be in the major.
Yeah. Wait, no,
City major.
NIP knocked
NIP,
out.
NIP.
NIP, perfect.
NIP.
NIP knocked it out, Liquid to be in the
Yeah.
major.
Mhm.
I can guarantee that no team in the world, in any other region, know how it is to play those guys, those kind of teams in best of 3. So you go to the major or you're not, even though you're first place in your national league. FaZe Clan in the Mexico major was the top 1 by far in points. They lost a best of 3 against us. We were like, I don't know, 4th, 5th place, and every single effort they put in to be the top 1 team in BR6 went down to the hole by 1 best of 3, and they were out.
Yeah.
So why I need to be the best team in BR6 if I just need to be top 4 and hide the maximum things that I can? Because what the be the top 1? Oh, the Ubisoft they say, oh, it's the seed. You have a better seed. Well, I have to. Okay, I'm not playing FaZe, but I'm playing Nip. Okay, great difference. Oh, I'm not playing Nip, but I'm playing Liquid. Oh, great difference.
Oh,
The seed matters. Yes, seed matters. Of course, the seed doesn't matter. Now they changed the format, so a Brazilian team will not pick any Brazilian team. So when we say, okay, 4 Brazilian teams, a Brazilian team will play Argentinian team or a
Yeah.
Mexican team. So Brazilian team will win. Okay. And then it will repeat. And then those Brazilian teams will clash, the 4 Brazilian teams. 2 will be on a major, and the other 2 will have to play an Argentinian team or a Mexican team to be on a major again. So we already knew that the Brazilian teams was in the major.
Yeah.
If you want to give a chance to the other regions, if that's the speech, you're not giving a chance for the other regions. It's a show.
Exactly.
It's a show. A shit show, to be honest. And it is. It is. It's not fun. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not fun. So it's not fun. It's not fair for anyone. For anyone. That's why I hate Elite Six. And like when Ubisoft puts a Twitter, Elite Six matters. I disagree. Elite Six doesn't matter. If you score to the major, you're done.
Yeah.
Because that gives you a big amount of money. The first and the all the 4 teams that go to the major, they have the same SI points. So if you win the Copa Elite Six, you don't have more invitational points than the 4th place on the Copa Elite Six.
Yeah.
Which
And the major is the same point that you made with Copa Elite 6. Whether you're first seed, second seed, third seed, or fourth seed, you're going to a major. You are going to be facing the best teams in the world. You are facing tough.
Kind of seed.
You are facing tough opposition. Whatever your seed is, whatever their seed is, they're gonna be extremely hard to beat. So at that point, you're right. Like in that sense, yeah. What is the point of winning Copa Elite 6 other than I guess the money? Which is like
no, the money did not.
Yeah, it's
Let's
not
go.
that much.
There's
$30,000.
There's a difference between the first and the second.
No, now it's a good one. But last year,
it
wasn't.
Good one. It's questionable because you have 20% taxes right even before you touch the money.
Yeah.
The 30% of the organization. Then we split for 7 because we are 7, and we split the prize pool in an equal form. And then you have 6% taxes, personal taxes.
Oh yeah, I think you made this point somewhere.
It doesn't take you don't make a lot of money. Like okay, that was, and if you think strategically, we didn't show up huge things on the Elite Six finals that we played. Like we let Clubhouse to play against FaZe, and of course Clubhouse was our perma-ban in almost every single tournament. Yes. Oh, because you weren't giving a shit? Yes. You weren't giving a shit. Because when you talk to other coaches, playing a major is hard as hell. Right? And Mexico was a little bit easier for us because nobody gave a shit about us.
That's why you
So
had to play a tiebreaker game.
yeah, and it was a little bit easier. You know, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. And nobody gave a shit about us, and was a little bit easier. When we won the major, things went from that level that we had 0.4 chance percent of qualifying, had to play the first tiebreaker in history, to be a hell because every single team starts to study you the top of your head from your feet, and then go to the last game you played. Which is the last game you played before the major? A grand final in Elite Six, which take 5 maps. You really want to show that content, and then you go to a major? You are fucked. I'm sorry, but it's true. Because every single team will download those replays because they are public, and it's another thing that doesn't make a fucking sense, but it's okay. They will download the replays right before the major, and they will study you from the top of your head through your feet, and then your major now it's way harder than it would be normally hard. So it's choices that you
But
make.
but in North America and Europe and everything,
Best
they
of
play the
one.
league, they qualify,
Yeah.
and that's it.
And they play
No
best
best
of
of
ones.
threes, no best of
Yeah.
5. But still, Brazil won every event last year.
That's fair, and that's fair. And if Ubisoft wants to sanction me, I'll pay my sanction. I don't give a shit because
You
that's
got
bullshit.
you got the money. You got the money from the Mexico major.
That's bullshit. And I think that's the biggest bullshit right now, and that's why I hate Copa Elite Six. And I don't care. I really don't care.
Yeah,
It's bullshit. From every single aspect of the competition, it's wrong. And it's my opinion. If they want to sanction me, fine. But
yeah. That's
I
unfortunate.
oh man,
It's really problematic.
it's
Like,
annoying. It's
we
annoying.
and
It's
we
annoying.
and Hunter, David, and I talked about this last week as well, right? David, when we started this discussion with APAC's issues, but we eventually came to the point like, look, why do LATAM and APAC have to go through this playoff system? LATAM especially, as you said, with the Copa Elite Six, and then NA and EU, they are sending their teams top 4, best of ones. You're done. Go forth and conquer. And okay, LATAM and APAC are bigger regions, but I think Odin had a fairly decent suggestion as well in chat as you were talking, TchubZ. Add in the NAL after that have their playoffs where they play with Mexican teams, they play with Canadian teams, and then you guys play with the South American teams perhaps over here, and then the Europe you play with the Middle Eastern teams, and APAC plays their playoffs. And this way we have playoffs in every single region, and every single region has the same format. Every team kind of has to fight through a tough gauntlet. They have to play their best of threes, and they have to showcase. Those replays need to be available to anyone, which in my opinion, I think the replays being available is a good thing. But as you said, when you are having best of 3 replays against and best of 5 replays against Liquid, NIP, FaZe, and all these big hitters, even against Team 1 now, W7M, then damn, you have to show everything. You're basically exposed, naked.
And another thing about the replays, I hate this replay system being
yeah, it doesn't work half
public.
the time.
No. It works.
Oh.
The problem is it works.
Okay.
But the thing is, well, let's think about next split, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first week, if they repeat the calendar, I'll just open the calendar so I don't talk shit. But if I open the calendar here, we played Team 1 as our first game, and then FaZe as the second game, right? So the first weeks we won't scream Team 1 and FaZe because we'll play them.
Mm-hmm.
So they are hiding threats from us, and we are hiding threats for them. At least we expect to hide, right?
Yeah.
And then we play against Team 1 on Saturday. Why should I be able to watch FaZe replay against whoever they played on Saturday if we are hiding threats from each other because we play against each other the next day? Why is this even legal? Why do I have the replays of the matches that I didn't played?
But in that, okay, so I'm not sure how it works in like League. You can perhaps enlighten us. How does it work in League, in the system? Like, is there any replay system or something like that? Or can you like see all the strats
No,
of
you
the other
watch
team?
the.
Just
No,
have
you
to
have
watch the
you
VOD.
scrim.
Yeah.
Yeah, you watch the VOD. You study the VOD. So I will study what I have. Yeah, I shouldn't be able to have a massive content. What replay is to study a team that I have information that I shouldn't.
Mhm.
But
How the way I will earn this information? Okay, I will watch their games, the start of the
Mhm.
game in case, and then study, and that information is what I have. If I
but
play, and then I have to choose. Oh, do I force a map video to pick up that map, which I have information because they played on the last day, or do I force another thing? Like it is different. And can you imagine? You be a team that creates new strats, create new things, create like a new retakes, a new plant position, new whatever you want to create. You will take time, effort, and to practice that and put it in perfect position to execute in a tournament, right?
mhm.
And then you will use on Saturday. Now everybody has. Everybody knows because everybody will see the you retake. Say, oh, that's awesome. I will download the replay over here,
I guess
and I
though the
have every
logic,
single trigger, every single thing, little thing that you did.
but the logic here, if at least the way I understand it, is it increases the competitiveness of the leagues. Um,
No, increases the laziness of the teams because no one will create something new and be part of the whole process to create something new. So all the other teams just copy that in 5 minutes. So why do I will be like punishing myself creating new
yeah.
strats or new whatever
So
it is if the all other teams in the entire world can just download it and copy in 5 seconds all the work that I have?
we
And
have a
why this
question in
happens
chat.
no, and look, why this happens in
Yeah.
the national leagues, but when you go to the majors and the invitation, you don't have the other teams replay.
I do believe it's yeah, that's they're supposed to release it like by right, I think immediately or
No, you have
something.
your own replays.
Right, yeah, yeah. But like like all the replays are supposed to be released or something, but they always release it after the event or something like that. Like but
Yeah,
there's a
after the
question.
event, okay, it's
Yeah,
public, but no,
yeah.
it's okay because when you play the entire tournament, the entire
Yeah.
split, you have
After that,
all
yes,
your
yeah, yeah.
VODs and VODs from all the other teams.
Hmm.
It's okay, and you have like all the replays. I'm sorry. And when the tournament ends, every single replay is public. Now it's okay.
So the question in chat that I'm saying from Red Warden is that he says he doesn't see the difference between replays and VODs are dependent on the observers anyway. So how would you address this?
Odds are dependent on the observer. You have to watch and rewatch, and you take time to watch every single perspective that you want because you will see one time you see on the observer screen. So you'll have oh wait, and you have to literally study the VOD. It takes time, it takes effort, and that will like put a major division between the good staffs and the lazy staffs. The lazy staffs won't study those VODs and won't be able to copy things right after, like they will copy in a poor way, which won't work. So I don't care. So and the good thing is that will put effort and time studying those that material, looking through an observer. It's way different than you have the entire map and you be the observer, and
Hmm.
you can like just do this and copy whatever you want. So it doesn't take time. That this system, like, it's way better for lazy coaches and lazy analysts than for the good ones.
Mhm.
That's my opinion.
That
Like, if you're lazy and you're
your
fine with
opinion?
that, it's okay. If you don't
David, your
mind me calling
thoughts?
you lazy, okay as well.
I just think that I think that he's completely right. Like I didn't see it this way.
Yeah.
You just can't just go ahead, copy the homework of your classmate and put it like this, okay? Spend time, look at how do they play, how do they like defend this side or whatever, how do they take, how do they whatever, and you just do your version, create your version, and that's it. That's it. And it just what he said. You just can go for it instead of creating from scratch everything. And I don't know. It's not wasting time, but you obviously spend more time, more effort creating your own things than going to the replay and just taking over someone else's work. It's a tough matter.
One day,
Honestly.
ask Alemão
Mm-hmm.
how long we took to create the chalet, which is meta right now, because Team One was the first team whoever
Yeah, one of the
attacked
first.
bar
Yeah.
Mhm.
in the different way, which is the meta, which became meta for so
Yeah.
long. Ask Lagonis how long it took to had the idea, elaborate that idea, create some tags, and test every single one. Oh, this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is trash, this is not. So to create that, ask them how long it took. And you can imagine someone copying that in 10 seconds.
Yeah, because in the observer for
Someone
the
to
VOD,
do that.
you can't see
I would
every
just wait someone to do that.
Yeah, you can't see every small detail. You can't see like, oh, my Mozzie is gonna rotate in this place. He's gonna place his traps here. The Valkyrie is placing a camera specifically. You might see snippets here and there, but you won't be
Yeah.
able to get the full picture. And therefore, the value of the strat that you created is still preserved when you're looking at it
Exactly.
through the VOD.
And what happened? SSG took I don't know how many chalets
Yeah.
that we played to copy that. And then they just didn't copy that. They made it better
Mm-hmm.
because they took time copying that. Obviously, they tested it while they were copying. Lycan told me they called that attack the team one attack.
Nice.
And I think that's awesome. I don't think that's that's
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, like you have the
I think
SSG
it's an
role on
honor.
Clubhouse.
You know, like
Mhm.
it's an honor if someone copies your strat.
Yeah, yeah.
But they took it
They need to put
and
effort
they
into
made
it.
it better
Yeah, yeah.
because they were testing while that they were copying and having everything, and they made it better. Why? When they made it better, we were watching and said, "Sons of a bitches." What we did? We copied them, and we
Yeah.
called it SSG.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which attack? Can you repeat which attack was it?
The bar attack on Chalet.
Ah, okay.
So,
Oh, shit.
and then the meta changed, but we use the meta. We have attacks that we took from Oxygen, for example, in Oregon, the kids bomb site. We had in Team One, the kids attack from Oxygen, and it's not a problem. The thing is, the problem is not copying strats. Copying strats, it's normal. A lot of teams will like bring up new things, and you'll see what fits the most, and you'll test it and you'll make it in your own way,
Mhm.
and that's completely fine. But for doing that, you'll take time and effort. And by putting time and effort to copying a strat, whatever, so many times you will improve that strat and create a new one, new version better than the previous
Mhm.
one. And then the other teams will cycle, and that's part of the game.
Yeah.
When you put the replay system, why the hell teams will put so much effort in creating those kind of stuff? Because it's not an easy thing to do. It requires time and effort, and we don't have time to waste. So why will I put myself and my team through all this process to a lazy ass son of a bitch that doesn't create anything? Just 10 seconds, he has everything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
As for me, it's against competitive spirit, you know,
Integrity.
like
Yeah.
yeah, the competitive integrity, perfect.
Yeah, and I guess that's also kind of like no, I don't know, but like personally, when you started talking about this, and this is we're getting a little bit divergent, but I think we've talked all of our main topics, so let's go diverge. We won't play the games today because this is a very interesting discussion. We have like an actual coach with us, so when the yellow pings launched, so that's where my mind went to when you talked about replays and how it's so easy to just the effort just gets taken away from creating strats. Now, the debate was in two camps, right? One was like look, giving callouts and creating your efficient callouts isn't really a skill. You can just it's just a thing about memorization, just about putting in like wasting like an hour or two on every map and figuring out what callout is. And the argument was like, so make it easier with yellow pinging. The argument against was like, no, this is something that it takes effort, it takes skill to understand what is the most efficient way to communicate, which is the most impactful way to raise the attention of your teammates, etc., etc. And I fall in the second camp. I still fall in the second camp. I think yellow pinks make it too easy. That's even before we saw the problem with like the vertical grenades. What is this like a similar situation? What is your take on like the yellow pink?
I don't think that yellow ping is broken or whatever because it's you can't rely 100% on the yellow ping because you have a vision from below because of the drone,
True, yeah.
and then you want to ping someone, and then
It
the
goes
ping
through them,
goes on
yeah,
the
yeah,
wall,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
and like for me, it gives you misinformation if you don't have a good callout system and your team is really deep into callout because we'll use pings and the callout.
Hmm.
So even though the ping is a little bit distant, they know where the guy is, but more because of the callouts than the ping itself. And like for me, for us personally, it didn't change a lot. I think helped, yes, helped, but in a good margin. Because if you still doesn't know a shit about callouts and your communication is trash, you in certain situations the ping will help, yes, of course, but in others won't. It will make it harder. Like if like go through a wall with a ping and the guy was like, okay, he's here and you're gonna die. But eh, I don't think that went to a huge change. For example, like the attack repick.
Ah, yeah.
Mhm.
The attacker repick. Well, we've gone quite long, but like, screw it, why not? Final question. You think David attacker repick? You wanna go there? You wanna pick his brain?
Let's go. I think it's quite broken. I think it's quite
Explain
broken.
to the people who don't really create strats. What makes attacker repick so broken, and like how much of an impact has it already had in all the leagues?
To me, like
Yeah,
my
I mean,
is it question?
you David or TchubZ, you can explain as well. Or
As a
David, you explain, and TchubZ, you tell us whether David is right, whether David is on the right track.
Okay.
okay, fine.
Yeah.
So as a viewer, yes, as a viewer, I feel like attackers having the chance to basically, because last season you could see like the operators beforehand, and then you had the six peak and whatever, and now you drone, you see, okay, they are in this bomb site or this, or they have this structure, or they are playing this way. They can
With these
change
operators,
the
yeah.
whole, exactly, these operators, whatever. They can change the whole team to choose the operators they feel like they are going to counter the side that they are going to attack, which obviously before you had a slight idea because of the operators they were playing or they were going to play. So you would six pick and then, okay, let's go for it and let's see if it works out. Now you just can change the whole system of your attack, and then I think that it gives a maybe unfair chance, and I think that maybe attacker pick should be limited to not five, like not everyone to change the operator that they choose, but maybe only two operators, or I don't know, three, or I would say two, okay, but I don't know. That's my opinion as a viewer. Yeah.
TchubZ?
To be honest, the idea it's not. I don't think it's trash entirely, right?
Mhm.
The idea, but if you check like 2 years ago, we have like extremely defended side
Yeah, yeah.
meta,
Exactly.
and then
Yeah.
attack repeat will be perfect to that
Perfect.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
and will
I agree.
balance and will be like perfect game, perfect meta. Okay, perfect. But when you introduce attack repick in the attacker side, the meta, because the meta was already attacker sided,
Mhm.
it just became bullshit.
I I think I'm
The
sure like on the
timing
ground.
was the worst possible
Yeah,
for me.
I feel like you're right
I
with
agree.
like the feeling, but like at least in like the games that I've seen, a couple of games, I haven't been watching too much of BR6, unfortunately. But it seems that teams are still running out of time on the attack. They're too slow. They're still being slowed down. And looking at the BR6 stats, um, well, we have 4 maps which are defender sided. We have 4 maps that are attacker sided, and we have Oregon, which is exactly 50%. Isn't that statistically at least, and I know statistics can differ with how it feels on the ground or what it is on the ground, but statistically, isn't it achieving its purpose in making this more of a level playing field where you have 4 attacker-sided maps, 4 defender-sided maps, and one exactly balanced map? In this case,
Well, to
would you
be
say
honest,
it's kind of done its job?
well, let me check.
So
Oregon,
Oregon's
Oregon
50%.
is 50-50, but
Yeah.
Oregon nowadays it's much easier to attack than defense. Bank is attacker side, Villa is attacker side, Chalet is attacker side.
Chalet is
Uh,
defense sided in BR6 at 59%.
No, but it's like
Five.
W7M won like I think 13 out of 15 defenses there against Furia and MIBR,
True,
which
true.
changes a lot
I will
the
pick attack on
rating.
Chalet every single time that I can. Like
Hmm.
even Cafe, it's easy. It's attacker side. Even Cafe Dostoevsky,
Yeah.
it's attacker
Yeah.
side. Like
Cafe
Clubhouse,
Clubhouse
it's
Villa are like huge surprises. Like these are
yeah.
used to
So
be defense strongholds.
like Border are here as a attackers as a defense side. But
Mm.
to be honest, I don't think the
Mm.
map is a defender side. I think it's because teams lack of experience in the map.
True.
It's my opinion,
Yeah, no,
but
that's
will be
probably
attacker
true.
side.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Yeah.
in
probably true.
Skyscraper, it's well balanced. It's a little bit in favor of defense, but not something that's unimaginable.
Crazy. Yeah.
So you have a strongly attacker side meta, you know. So and you
Yeah.
have the 6 pick for attack to make easier. Like when time will come and teams will be more experienced with the attacker, the
That's true.
attacker
And
repick,
then it
and
will
will use
swing.
Hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
better and better. I think if we would be if we were in a defender side meta, it would be perfect timing to introduce the new tool.
Hmm.
But the timing was terrible, in my
Yeah, yeah.
opinion, because when you have the attacker side meta, how defense cheese a little bit. You create some strats to make with the same operators and change just one. And then you pick an offside bomb site with the composition that you're looking that won't be a good for attack that bomb site even though it's not a strong site. Like for example, um laundry supply in Oregon.
Mhm.
Laundry supply no, it's kitchen dining, which we used to play. Like the first, I think Team One was the only team in the world that was keeping picking up kitchen and dining, while other teams are playing meeting hall and kitchen.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Why? Because we baited the composition to throw that in the middle of the pack on the bomb side order. So we knew that if teams will have to force us on mini, we'll have like a behavior that this way. If teams will force us from the big tower and green, how we call it, in the main stage, we have another behave. And if they will hunt us through the Arsenal stairs and coming from I don't know the callouts in English to be honest, but I know our callouts, so like
I
we
mean, you,
know
you
how to
you can say
behave.
it in Portuguese. David can translate.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
try.
and no, it's because we have very
Oh,
different callouts
okay,
from
okay,
the
okay.
standards, so so that's why the translation is not a problem. It's like the name that we
Right,
call
right.
the stuff, and like we know how to behave, but the other team will know because they wasn't expecting that until they drone. But when they drone, they had a different composition, a different idea in mind. So they have to adapt their attack and what their composition has. So they brought Ing and whatever, thinking that they will be attacking kids, and now they lacking the good resources to attack kitchen dining, for example.
Hmm.
So this was a tool, let's say a tool, a strat that you could do to make offsites more viable, because they still suck, but more viable to play and win some key rounds to win the match. So it makes the teams more smart in which sites they will play, which sites they will choose, and how they want to play those sites, because they all the teams need to go better, and use every single key they could to beat the attack. Now I don't give a shit if you bait an offside and put the composition
That's
one. I don't
true,
give a shit.
yeah.
I will put glass in whatever the composition I want. Draw. Oh, is this side? Oh, with this composition. Oh, okay, switch everyone. Let's do this. Fuck
Please,
it.
please don't do that for us. Because SiegeGG, when we have to write down all the stats, it makes it difficult for us. So just don't do that for our sake. But yeah, do whatever else you want. Just don't change for us. Yeah, it's tough for us. Yeah.
Like the reason is why. Why they introduced this attack repick on this timing? Because the idea is not all bad. I
Yeah.
just think
Maybe
the
fewer
time was
operators.
the worst possible to do it.
Maybe reduce it to 2 operators, like David said.
Yeah, I think that's a
No,
good idea.
you can change your 5. I don't care, but do it when you're in a heavily defended style meta. Then you give attackers a chance. Like it's
Yeah.
okay. It will be okay. It will be balanced. But now, if you see they nerfed every single gun in defense, like what
Yeah.
left to defense? Being honest.
Justice for the P10. Justice for the P10.
From the Jaeger gun and for every single
Yeah.
other gun, and they literally just don't they nerfed the defense gun, and they gave LMGs to attack.
Do we want to get there?
Yeah.
Do we want to get there?
No,
The next patch attacks the attacker side will have a nuke, and they just
Yeah.
or an RPG or a javelin or something like that probably, and what do you do? What do you do? Probably the next attack operator will have a javelin and an RPG,
Yeah.
and they will just blow the map and blow the defenders. Or
Yeah.
No bomb, no map, no bomb. That's it.
no map, no bomb. Problem solved. Attacker one.
The bomb's in your
Exactly.
pocket. The bomb's in your pocket.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, no. Fair enough. Together with LMGs, especially, attacker repick is way overtuned. That one for sure. I think LMGs bring back their recoil. Like, they used to have such high recoil. They reduced it. That is a big problem in my opinion. I think we really, really, really need to get back to the old style recoil.
yeah, but doesn't solve the problem. Is that if they just nerf the LMGs, you have a lot of incredible guns. They got nerfed,
yeah.
and they are shit to play. Why they nerf everything?
762,
That's the
yeah.
question.
Zofia.
Why do you nerf everything?
It's
you
a
can tweak,
solution.
of course. What? Why destroy everything? Man? I had a point that KDS told me I don't want to play Jäger anymore. Please, it's not good. It's not fun because they destroy it. Look at Ash.
Yeah.
Ash
You don't
was
see her
one of
anymore,
the more
basically.
iconic operator in the game, with the most iconic gun in the game. Nobody runs it anymore because they destroyed the gun. They don't need to destroy a gun to balance it. They had then Zofia with the
Zofia was
M762,
particularly
and it was
interesting.
iconic as well. And then they destroyed the gun, and then they destroyed Jaeger, and then they destroy the
But-
Mozzie gun. People are using the
Mozzie.
DMR on
Yeah.
because DMR is strong as fuck on Naruni.
Yeah.
And why are you destroying the iconic things? You can buff the the guns they are trash, to match up a little bit the others, and we'll be fine. But this cycling of destroying everything, the game will. It's like a path, a scary path to take, you know. And
I
I'm
guess
seeing like
I guess they want to
buff
avoid
UMP because UMP is a really trash gun.
that's true. I think like they want to avoid power creep so badly, and I don't know. Is it in like you might be familiar with this? Is it in League where like all the operators are like kind of like overtuned or stuff like that, or the heroes, I guess
No,
you call
that's
them in League?
Dota.
No, Dota. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Because I know
In
one
League,
of the two has like a
a
power
lot.
creep issue, and maybe they want to really. It seems like they really want to very badly avoid having a power creep issue,
Yeah.
so they go for the
No.
nerfs and nerfs and nerfs.
Yeah. Having a bunch of power, we had like in League we call the power picks, like the
Yeah.
picks that I could blind whatever because they are so strong that nothing can pretty counter it. Like having a lot of power picks, it's unhealthy for the game. 100%. I agree with that. Like when I say like stop nerfing everything, it's not like keeping everything bullshit. You know, like you can have like an R4C viable to use,
Yeah.
not like destroy the gun. And like the other gun have been like a shit show, a terrible show that you'll never pick that gun because like it's a shit show. Why would I pick this over this? You know, like why? Like
Yeah,
like
you're
this
forcing
kind of stuff.
people off guns because they just
Yeah,
become
and
bad.
that's not good.
They're not like
And
okay.
when the guns are at least good or viable and fun to play at least, and you have to choose between two fun guns,
Mm.
it will be okay. And that's what you see on IQ, for example. You see Miracle from
Mhm.
Inferior running Commando, but you see other IQ players running LMG.
Yeah.
Some
And
are
then if
even
they
in
nerf it, probably
APAC use the
they all
AUG.
can use. Yeah. So that's the perfect example in an operator that needs bank, but that's another subject. But
Yeah.
in terms of guns, IQ is really well balanced.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
Well,
Why
I mean,
don't do
I
this
don't,
kind of stuff with the others operators?
yeah, though I don't blame like Ubisoft too much because I know they want to make it as balanced as possible. And you know so many operators they want to make the guns unique. And you know when they don't release new guns, like you know there's a lot of outcry with the casual scene as well. And the casual scene is obviously viable in its own right. It's most of the players.
I don't blame them as well. I don't blame Ubisoft on this because
so
there's
it's a tough
well,
position.
I used to blame Riot because of the patch, some patch notes as well because
Yeah.
they can like make everybody's happy with
Correct.
and sometimes mistakes will be made.
Sometimes.
And it's okay. And it's okay. It's part of the game as well.
And for all intents and purposes, Ubisoft's balancing since like the last overtune operator, which was like what Lion was it? I think, or like the Maestro. I think after that they kind of figure out they're like, okay, we need to stop. You need to stop going too crazy with the operators, and they have done well. We have to give them
100%,
credit
100%.
for that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
So yeah, I think
In terms of operators, I think they are in the pretty good because
yeah.
But
it's because it's better to you launch an operator that won't be bigger so much because it's not that OP,
Yeah.
and eventually people will figure it out how to use it in a
Correct.
good way.
Get the
Then
audience
you
smarter.
Launch
Get the
an operator
players
that
smarter.
it's so dumb that you
Lion
must run it
assist.
and like smash
Yeah.
your head into the wall and something will be
That
right
was like a
because it's
dark few
broken.
years. Like it went from BB 600 HP, 800 HP shield to Glass, Banana,
yeah.
to Lion. There was the Finka. There was the Ella. Oh my god, that was like
Well,
a
oh
really,
my god.
that was like a very dark few operator releases. Even Maestro had the LMG with the ACOG
Yeah.
coming out. I think
remember.
Maestro was like also a problem after that, but eventually they figured it out, and now like I think the past few years have been solid. But yeah, I think I agree with you. I think David also agrees that maybe nerfing the guns to change the operators' pick rate isn't the best way to do it. Maybe utility.
I think that we should accept that there are some operators that the pick rate is not going to be in the middle as
Yeah,
Ubisoft wants, and we have to accept that. Some operators are just for casual games, okay? And we should like accept that, okay? For example, I don't know. Well, maybe she's not the best example, but Frost, we see her sometimes in some exotic lineups, but
now it's become more common with the changes to the scopes, and she had the 1.5. She got the shotgun. See,
exactly with
that's
the shield.
Thing. Yeah, they gave her the shield, and suddenly that is what like changed her pick rate. Like her gun became better, her kit became
Alibi,
better.
For example.
Yeah. Like using
Alibi
guns
was the
maybe
perfect point.
Yeah.
The perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody runs the Alibi before, and now if you need a lurker with a shield, if you need a shooting composition, you just okay, like you go for the resources, and she has good resources.
Yeah, that's a good
and a good gun.
Yeah, that's a good balancing way.
Which is sure.
That's how it should be. Like kind of bring the operators into the meta that way, rather than like just nerf all the guns. Like some guns, yes, they need to be nerfed. Like Twitch's F2 needed to be nerfed. We needed the Maestro LMG
from
nerf.
Ash.
Yeah, R4C needed to be nerfed. But like they went maybe a little too hard on that. But I mean, Apex bringing like Ash again. By the way, TchubZ, if you didn't see, like they brought so much Ash in the past 2 weeks, I was so surprised. But like for some reason, Ash is coming back. But things change.
APAC, you can't take APAC as normal. You know, like, they're wild. Yeah. I had bad experience with the APAC teams, you know.
We know a little bit too.
We have understood. We have understood.
But yeah, oh my god, this has been a wonderful, wonderful show. It has been so enriching.
That's been good.
Discussing with you, TchubZ, talking to you about everything. Like your insight is obviously unique, very hard to get from 3 journalists over here who sometimes don't know what they're talking about, and we try our best. We try our best based on sources and stuff like that, and our educated guesses. But we also only play in ranked and unranked. We don't play in at your level. So thank you very much for coming in and joining us on this show the day that Hunter couldn't be. I think we might try and make you permanent after this, give you a second job if you ever get fired from 00 Nation. We are right here.
Probably get fined, so I'll need a second job if I get fined, of course.
Yeah, 40K,
especially if
40K
the fine is being in dollars, because everything's hard in dollars for us. So, but at least worth it. Someone had to talk this.
Someone, just like in APAC, somehow the issue had to be raised. Someone had to raise these Copa Elite 6 issues, and we got like 900 viewers right now. Hopefully, people are paying attention. People are looking at this. But it's been a fantastic show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. The discussion order went from APAC, EU, NA to Brazil, and then now just general game balancing with TchubZ over here. It's been amazing to have TchubZ as a coach. Hope you guys loved him. Next week, I think Hunter might be back, so we might not see you again, TchubZ. But hopefully, when it comes to the August major, we can catch you at the event itself, and we'll see how it works out. Yeah.
Thank you for the invite again. It was a pleasure for me. Like, you can call me anytime. Anytime you want, just
let's go.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, fantastic. Maybe we'll call you during the major. We'll see if we have a SiegeGG live episode then. But for now, it's been me, Shikhar Gupta, with me from SiegeGG, our wonderful, wonderful writer, David, and with us, the amazing major champion coach, TchubZ, right now coaching for 00 Nation. Thank you very much. It's been an amazing show. And we'll catch you next week, same timing at 1:30 p.m. UTC.